Thank you for accepting the invitation to be on Salonexit, Aysha. Maybe you can just go straight to, some of the very simple questions. How were you introduced to art?
So I kind of come from a family of creative people. So there's loads of like sculptors, painters, writers in the family. So I was introduced to like just kind of expressing myself creatively from a very young age. I went through like phases of wanting to be a writer, maybe wanting to do like graphic design, wanted to be a ballerina at some point.
Nice.
Yes, there's a lot of like, I guess like my mom was always encouraging me to like express myself creatively. So it was very smooth.
Did it feel almost like a artistic pressure? You had to go that direction? It was very smooth for you.
I think it wasn't, I guess like, because my dad's side is not really creative at all. So it was always like, it's okay to like, if you want to be like your dad and you do less creative stuff, that's fine. But if you want to do art stuff, it's very welcome, I guess.
Nice. Regarding your practice. Oh, so is that the like original one?
Yeah, so you can still get them like in most post-Soviet countries.
Do they all supposed to be doing that sound?
I think so, yeah, because they're for like toddlers, to like keep them entertained, and then they like push it and it comes back. And in Russian it means like something that doesn't fall down, basically. Yeah. So,
yeah. How did you kind of stumble upon this?
So I used to have one as a child, and then like it was one of my. I used to love dolls growing up, so it used to be and I used to like love weird dolls.
Weird dolls.
Yeah, I mean like I feel like not like just. Obviously normal dolls too, but like funny looking dolls.
Okay.
And I used to give them haircuts and stuff. So
nice.
And I used to like my Nevalyashka doll because it was so like, I guess, baby-like but also doll-like at the same time. And then my mom always used to compare me when I was a toddler to the doll because I guess we had a similar facial expression or something.
Yeah.
And then like obviously grew up, forgot about it. And then during lockdown I was still at uni and I was trying to figure out like what to paint. I just found loads of photos of me with the dolls, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun! Like, I can paint that." And then that just sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah, like a rediscovery of your childhood.
Yeah.
Nice.
In a way.
It's actually quite interesting that you found this subject and stuck to it and like expanded on it so much. And now going into almost like I think some of your pieces are inspired by it, but not necessarily. Yeah. The Nevalyashka itself, right?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Are these pieces, for example, what are they based on?
So the animal ones, they're all like, they are also the Nevalyashka dolls, because I realized that like the modern age Nevalyashkas, they moved on from like the specific old style design and then they now like experiment with like animals and stuff. So I just look at a lot of them online, the ones that you can actually buy, and I just sort of come up with my own versions of it.
Do you have like little collections of them? Are you trying to get as many of them?
It's like I don't know,
because painting them.
I am painting them. That's like that doll is the only one I have actually.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I don't have my old doll anymore.
Have you painted the OG Nevalyashka of yours?
I have, yeah. It was like one of my first pieces that I've ever made. And I think it's sold during my degree show, so I don't really, it's gone, I do have like a watercolor sketch of it at home, and like it's the first ever one I've made.
Some connections.
Yeah.
Some connections to it. So in terms of like your practice itself and the style of like depicting the almost like hyper-realistic, in a realistic way, these the parts of the dolls themselves, the close-up. How do you decide on the depth of the rendition?
So when I was at uni, I was primarily a portrait painter. I wanted to be a portrait painter, and like most of my portraits, they never actually looked human-like. They were always a bit kind of like too shiny, too plasticky looking. I could never paint the skin like normal skin. And at first I was like, oh my God, this is so, I need to like learn how to paint skin. But then like I painted something plasticky for the first time. I think it must have been like a balloon or something with like highlights, and I loved it. And I think like that plasticky sheen, it just allows me to, I guess, showcase like my skill a lot more. Yeah. And it's just, I think like plastic itself is very reflective, so you can do a lot with it. You can also like the highlights, you can make them as extensive as you want, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, and that changes the whole piece.
Almost like you discovered your calling, your artistic calling.
Yeah, weirdly, it's just plastic.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, it's very memorable, your pieces.
Thank you.
The style is very original. So,
thank you.
Yeah. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about your artistic creative process?
Okay, so the first stage usually is just me at looking at loads of, I guess, Google images of like the vague stuff I have in my head. And then I just pull a few, and then I go to Photoshop, and I also have like a little drawing tablet, and then I just edit stuff there. So it starts with like a digital sketch, and then I kind of take that onto the canvas, and then I start to like paint it. And I paint in layers, so like the highlights are all like, there's multiple layers. But like most of it, like the designing stage of it is usually done like on the computer.
I see. Which part of that process do you like the most?
I prefer painting. Like I was gonna get into like, before uni I was like, oh, maybe I should do graphic design because I like that's like a lot, but it was just not creative enough, I guess, for me. I just wanted to like do something with my hands.
I see. Any periods, artistic periods or styles that are the most kind of influential in your practice?
I'm not actually sure. I used to love Baroque art.
That was, I thought so. I was wanted to ask about this actually.
Yeah, like just the whole like Baroque aesthetic of it. The Baroque, like just like the, I guess the glossy materials, like the pearls that the ladies used to wear. All of that, I don't know.
My favorite too.
Yeah.
Do you like Caravaggio?
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's great.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about remaking paintings in your style? That would be something.
That would be cool.
Insane. That would be insane. That idea came to my mind when I thought about this painting.
Oh yeah, that painting. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do some highlights.
Exactly. That's a weird question, but I'm not sure how you even understood this question, but any favorite non-artistic thing that you have?
I like reading. That was my kind of take on it. Just because, like, I guess when you read, like your brain just makes up a story and you see it. I guess I at least I do.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of, for me, is very similar to like painting, because then you have something in your head and then you make it a reality.
I see.
So yeah.
Like you filling the gap.
Yeah,
the
with
visual.
your own imagination. Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's
nice. That's a cool pick.
Thank you.
Why do you make art in general?
It's kind of just like, I guess, a mode of existence for me in a way, because I feel like it's not really like a conscious like thought of like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna make art today. It's more of like, okay, yeah, this is like kind of what I do, and I've been doing it for so long, I guess, that it's just like normal
way of existence.
Yeah, no weird way.
Dealing with stuff. Do you feel like it allows you to deal with certain things in life in general? Yeah,
definitely. I feel like my sort of paintings, it's like almost keeping a diary in a way. So like every painting, it's a reflection of a specific period in time. And then when you kind of finish it, like for me, if I look at my old pieces, I can instantly like transport myself back to like my headspace at the time. Like I know what happened.
It's almost like photography, but more minute in terms of like the little details you can find.
Definitely more obscure, I guess, because like the viewer doesn't exactly know.
That's a quite interesting type of diary, a diary which you know, apart from when you sell it or like, you know, put it to an exhibition. Yeah. That's quite interesting, right? It is interesting. It's like a diary that you know, say goodbye at some point. Yeah, like no one actually knows that it's a diary either. It's like people buy it and then it means something else for them. Yeah, that's cool. That is very cool. Thank you. And last but not least, what do you think is art? I don't know. It's quite like, I feel like it's quite an abstract term in general. Yeah. I think it's a different thing for everyone in a way. I think for me it's more like something that makes you, I guess, stop and think and like just something that interests you. I don't know. I think a lot of things could be art, and for different people, different meanings that are attached to it. For me, it's like, oh, like if I'm in a gallery and then I just see something and it stops me, and then, or like if I read something and that stops me, I think that's where like the essence of art is. But yeah, the making you think part to me, I think is really important. Like stopping you, and because sometimes you walk on a street and you see something really random, and you're like, it's an interesting visual. Yeah, it's a visual, like either the color or the shape of it. It's like, oh, okay. Or on like lack of it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. In contrast to something. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much. No, thank you for having me.